Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Jesse Jackson III, CEO and founder of the Best Man Company and best-selling author of the Don't Kick 'Em Out book and training series. Thank you for being here. We're continuing our talk about classroom management. As I looked around when I listed my 20 challenges that I've seen for the Department of Education for the next 5 years, I first started it 3 years out of COVID, but now I went to 5, and now we're up to the next 10 years. One of those issues is going to be resolving the issue of classroom management and student management. They're two different processes. Failure to do so will misguide the teacher. The number one issue, well, let's say a top 5 issue that I'm seeing this year, that I'm seeing 90+% of teachers struggling with, is managing the student personality, managing the classroom environment. So let's break down some key things here that'll help us to help the teacher with this. First of all, the teaching, first that I really, let's go back. Thing that's very important for you to know about me. I'm a foundational academician. I believe heavily in teaching and learning, non-negotiable. I am not one of these people that's trying to push social theory in academia. I don't support that. Teaching and learning is a pure art form that can save somebody's life. If a kid doesn't learn how to be a student, read, write, do math, respect authority, their life is it's already clear that it's going to go in a very unproductive direction. That's obvious. So the purity of the classroom, it's like the purity of the sanctuary at church. Is some places you just don't do certain things. Why? When I coined the phrase, the trauma zone, that is a term that talks about the trauma of the outside of the community you're located in, no matter where you are: Brooklyn, the Bronx, Detroit, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Compton, LA, San Diego, Phoenix, Arizona. Trauma in that community comes to school every day, unannounced, and it puts pressure on the classroom process. There is not training for that as we exist. PBIS was not designed to deal with that. It works. PBIS works. Restorative practices were not designed to deal with that. That's not its infrastructure, right? Those things work. But however, if you're in the trauma zone and you got trauma coming in here, and it's really bombarding the teacher and basically saying school's not important and screw you guys' rules, man, you're going to lose, and your test scores are going to reflect that the trauma's there. But the states doesn't understand that, and they don't want to hear it, nor should they want to. Okay, because one thing that I know, because I'm doing it and I have a record of doing it, and you check my career and you see the A and B schools we've been a part of over 17 years, the blue ribbon schools in trauma zones that we've been a part of our career. It can be done, but it requires the discipline and the right type of discipline from management, and management understanding the training that the staff needs. We're still doing a lot of in-services at trauma zone schools. In-services are a review of stuff you already know. Trauma zone deals with trauma. Whose trauma first? Yours. The first rule of trauma is understanding what's going on with you. We sitting here trying to help kids with broken adults. It's proven not to work. Getting weird. Doesn't work. Therefore, I want to teach us how to do it properly so you can get better results. There's too many F schools in the country, and they have no business being Fs. I mean, I'm worked with a F school last year. They're still with me this year. And man, we just started cleaning up some little basic stuff. And in 1 year, we went from an F to a D. Just some basic cleanup. This year, they are on schedule to still a low B this year. Just by cleaning up some basic fundamentals, by putting some fundamental practices in place, they was able to get off the F list. Folks, this stuff, I like to call it easy. You know why? Because it's easy. What does easy mean to me? Things you can do. But guess what's also easy? It's easy not to do it. It's easy to be consistently inconsistent. Easy. Easy to do. That means we can do it. Easy not to do it. So this is why I interview clients. My training calendar is full for a reason. I interview people that want to come in because I want to know how committed you are to the training process. I'm not looking for a place to go talk. Man, I'm past that. I'm looking for partners that really need help. You asked anybody, if they call and say, Jackson, we need some help, man. This is what's going on. Here's my situation. We don't get caught up in foolishness, budgets, and theories. You need help. Let's get a deal done. Let's get it worked out. Our teachers need help. Principal, do your teachers need help? Superintendent, have you lost your principles? Because behavior, it's just, we don't have a policy. And it seems like the kids and families are manipulating our behavior system. Well, if that is you, you can fix that. But you got to start right now. And it starts with the proper guidance and training. I know I'm not for everybody. I know who I'm for. People who want to win, people who are willing to do the work. And that's only people I want to be around. I'm not going to fight somebody to actually improve their culture. If that's not what you want to do, I'm not your guy. Go find somebody else. And I'm okay with that. But if you watch these videos, you listen to me, you read my books, and I'm so thankful to the hundreds of thousands of supporters out there who read and watch our videos and do things, and I've been to your school and keep coming to your school. I'm thankful to that, because that's what this is about. What does a teacher need in the realm of classroom management? Teaching, being a successful teacher, comes down to a 4-pillar process. Number one, it's having knowledge of your subject. 2, having the ability to plan, and deliver content. So that's why a lot of people, they call it like, I'm not good at classroom management. Well, the truth is they're not good at delivering and planning and content. Okay. So that's your problem. Your content and delivery is so bad, you can't hold the group. You're so disorganized, this group don't take off on you. See? So if you're not prepared and you're not there, they can break if your game plan is not there, man, these kids can throw you off course in a minute. Why? Because they're attempting, that you got to discipline their brain. That calls for routine, which goes to number 3, student management. Are you disciplined enough to have a routine every day? An expectation and a routine every day, a standard in your classroom, acceptable, not acceptable, language acceptable, not acceptable, practice acceptable, not acceptable. It's a mandatory way. It's like having a house, right? Go to some people's house, you got to take your shoes off at the door. Don't even think about it. They don't care who you are. They don't care if you Dr. Jackson with really nice shoes. You better run them, Doc, at the door. And guess what you do? Fall in line. Do what they ask. You wouldn't dare walk on that lady floor, whether it's hardwood or carpet. That lady said, run them shoes. You better get them shoes off your feet. Why? The standard is set, and he or he will not back off their standard any day. You're not going to ever wear your shoes in my house. Take them off at the door every day, every time, non-negotiable. The standard in here. That's student management. That's what a lot of our teachers are struggling with. That. And then relationship with coworkers, because what happens in classroom management culture, once there's not a relation, like when coworkers don't work together as a team and kind of become individuals, we're going to lose. And that's exactly where you're seeing the teacher fall out. So the one thing that I want to do going into next year, and I'm committing myself to doing it all 12 months next year, all 12 months. I'm going to one half. I know over the summer we're going to be doing, I'm going to be offering like a block. I'm going to make like 10 days available in June and July for what's called the Classroom Management Institute. This is where a district or school, you got to get 1 or 2. You can get 2 or 3 days. Like one district's trying to get a whole week and get their entire district into it. It's going to be tough to do, but we're going to get it done for them. So we're going to do it in person, right? Some people, you got to go out there. That's just the way it is. But the first step that we're taking for a lot of folks as you look forward into 2023, 24, you need to start working on this classroom management issue, classroom and student management issue. It is unacceptable that classroom management behavior issues are still hijacking the education process. That means the teachers are not well equipped to deal with the student management component. So the areas that we're really focused on in our Classroom Management Institute, whether online or in person, we're talking about student management. And what student management allows us to do is understand the dynamics of the student's mentality, ideology, approach to education, and then also yours. It gives you some fundamental steps toward managing personalities, managing behavior. It gives you some very disciplined steps on putting the right boundaries in place and then the consistency to enforce them. We've got to, and then it also really gives great detail to becoming a better planner, right? We do a lot of PLCs, we do a lot of talks, but ask yourself, is the teacher really getting better? I will not. And then also in our Classroom Management Institute, we talk about how to improve your relationship with coworkers, because classroom management is a team sport. It requires the entire team to run the program and to stay together, work together, to work together. Okay. If the team has to work together, or you won't have a successful school if everybody's not working together. Also, in our Classroom Management Institute, we start helping people to identify what burnout looks like, so they're aware of the burnout that's occurring in them that creates agitation with the student. This problem can be fixed, but it is a training process, right? So I'll give you one thing that happened to me that will always stick out. I was working with a young teacher. She's still with us. This is year 5 in the program. Caught her early on in her career. I caught her in her first year, struggling, losing really bad the first year, kids moving her all over the place. And this is a good kid. I like this kid. This is a really nice young lady, brilliant young lady. She just was getting moved around. So I went up and talked to her one-on-one. I was at the school one day, went up and talked to her one-on-one, just check on her, like, hey, what you thinking? Because she'd been in training with me. And I started asking her questions, and we started walking through it. And she's answering the questions, and she came to this conclusion. She said this to me, I'll never forget it. She said, well, I guess I could be a lot more prepared because I don't feel prepared. And she says, I listen to myself and I know I'm boring. Her words. She's like, boy, I guess if I was better prepared and less boring, I'd probably have less problems. Her words, not Jesse's. She got it, because you're dealing with the right issue and the person knows how to fix the problem. We have to fix the issue of classroom management and student management. So what this institute is the Classroom Management Institute, when what it requires is this initial round. What you see below is some dates for the online program. What the online program does is it rolls out 3 different parts. When you get into the Classroom Institute, it's specifically for your campus. What you want to do is, if you have teachers that are able to use the PLC process, they can watch it during that time, but I would prefer for them to come live. So when we're working live, if you make time for the teacher to go to that training in the building online, and you can go in there and watch it live, I guarantee you in the building, you can start improving matters of classroom management. What we like to do is I like to answer all questions during those sessions. Other schools are in there, but the key is nobody knows. You can't see the other schools in there. It's a very private situation, so you don't know who's there. They're always full. But what I do during those times is I answer all of the questions. So this thing has 3, I broke it down into 3 parts to really help the teacher in some key and very critical matters to deal with classroom management. So it's an online course. It's a registration fee below. The initial date is a live date, and what you're allowed to do is you come to it at that live date and time. We give you access to that video. I believe it's like for 2 weeks. So this is a 3-part training, which will be available to you over time. If you're a building that's trying to address your issues of student management, classroom management. You know, you have teachers, young and old, veterans and rookies, that need some real understanding on what is going on in their classroom. I was at a school last week, and the dean was very frustrated because he said the worst classroom managers he has is the veterans. The veteran teachers are the worst ones. Well, they didn't just become the worst ones. They're experiencing burnout. They're tired of the kid. And so burnout is a dangerous thing because burnout's not physical fatigue. Burnout's emotional fatigue. If you ever become burnout, the education process is over. These are things that we've got to know. If you're a school and you know you need to help your faculty, you need to get them a tool to get them through the rest of the year and get them ready for getting ready, ramped up for the testing cycle. Enroll, register, and get access to this program for your staff. If you know you're in a different situation, you have some training days, you say, okay, Jackson, hey man, we need you here. You might have a PLC situation where there's multiple planning periods during the day where there's groups. That day is a harder day on me because I'm going to give 4 or 5 different talks. However, if it's best for you, I'll come to you. You know what's best for you. This is a training process. This is not a get one talk. This is an ongoing process. And if you really want to be good at it, you really stay with it 2 to 3 or 4 years. And you got to realize over 85% of everybody that ever started with me 17 years ago, if they haven't retired, they're still with me. They're still with me. I talked to a person earlier. She's been with me 11 years. Every school she went to, she took me with her. Every district she went to, she took me with her. One of my best friends in the world had 3 soup jobs in the last decade. She moved me right with her every time she left. See, it's something happening for the people, and they know who knows. They know who knows what they're doing and who can get them a result. And that's what I pride myself on, giving the results. So it is our Classroom Management Institute. It is something I'm very proud of because it helps the teacher. I typically am working with management. I do my videos for management, but the Classroom Management Institute is where I'm talking to the teacher. You want to get some help for your teachers. I don't think you'll be able to find a better program. If you don't think the programs help you, you can get out of it. It's not a problem. You know your teachers need some help. You need to get a extra resource in your building that's going to be highly effective. This is the program for you. It will be available this month. It'll start this month. A lot of people want to get their folks some help before they go into the break, and then they want to start off in January. Get yourself in our Classroom Institute. I'm just really looking forward to it because it helps the teacher, and the teacher is the key pillar in helping the children. I'm Dr. Jackson. Find a date below, register, start your process. I'm looking forward to working with you soon. I'll see you in class. Be well.